At the job fairs, I have suggested to my students that they need to be doing something very different. Okay, by the way, I'm Professor Cardamali, and I teach at this Jesse H. Jones School of Business. This is a part of Texas Southern University, established in 1926, one of the top alma maters in Houston area. The website is tsu.edu. Okay, this particular discussion I already have done with my students. But now, since I just finished uploading the final grades on the banner, so I have time for this vlog. And this one is not only for my students, but it is also for the students globally, and also the entry-level candidates that they are appearing the job fairs. I told you in my previous vlog that job fair is the best opportunity somebody could get to present themselves for getting a job. In 2017, I started teaching at JCH Jones School of the very first job fair that we had it there next to the building from the students center. I happened to go there. Just I wanted to see how my students are doing. There were a lot of booths, a lot of employers were there, a lot of students, a lot of entry-level positions. They were standing in line to get each. They were well dressed. Each one of them had one piece of a paper, which was their one-page resume. And the most of the students were at the booth, which was Microsoft. I could see, and I could just count them. There were around 10 students. And then I could see the 11th student coming. He first looks at the Microsoft because he also wanted to. But then after having seen that so many people were in front of him, very dejectedly, half-heartedly, he stands at the 11th student at the back of the line. Probably his idea was that they have 10 jobs, and all the jobs are going to be taken by the students who are in front of him, and he won't get any job. But that's not the case. But that reminded me 3 decades old story when I appeared the job fair. I have discussed it in my class with my students, so it will be a repeat thing for them. But I want to share this experience. Now, what happens there is a very, very strange thing. There are a lot of entry-level candidates coming, a lot of students are coming to get the jobs, okay? And they all are advised that you should have a resume, you should be well-dressed, and they were well-dressed. Now, I was shooting for, and it is the early 90s that I'm talking about, more than 3 decades, right? At that time, we did not have the internet. We don't have the cell phone. We did have computers, obviously. So I planned that, and I was shooting for a company. So in the Houston Chronicle, there was an advertisement. By the way, we are in the Houston area. This is for information for the audience who are globally. We are in the Houston area. So what I did, I wanted to check that this particular company that I was shooting for, they were there and they had several positions open, including my position, which is project engineer's position at that time. Okay. So I created one-page resume, but then I did something more than that. That is what the difference I wanted to tell my students and also the entry-level candidates. We have a very big central library here in Houston area. And in my kind of oil and gas, there is what is called a big catalog, which are in several volumes. It is called HPC, Hydrocarbon Processing Catalog. And that will be alphabetically from A to Z. So without naming names, I'm not naming the name of my company, but again, I pulled that alphabet and I looked into, okay, it is quarterly, it will be revised. There will be new edition will come 3 months, after every 3 months, in which they have the newsletter, what happens and all that. And I figured out that that company got a new project in the Far East, Batam in Indonesia, there for 400 odd million dollars. I don't remember it now. Okay. And what I did, they will allow me to make a photocopy. I made a photocopy in the library. I came home and I created a one-page summary of it. On the top, I wrote down the title of the project, and then what was the description of it, what it involved, what was major scope of work, and how they are going to fabricate it, how they are going to transport it, how they are going to install it, then they are going to commission it. It was mentioned how they are going to do the project. And I wrote down below my comments, how I would do it differently. And in that one, I did write a few things which I did find out of my experience at that time, that it could be fabricated somewhere in another area instead of Batam in Indonesia, or some other things. So I did have transportation, the ocean going transportation and all of that. I did add few things based on my own knowledge of the scope of work or that newsletter. Now, when we went to the job fair, the exactly same scenario was there. I could see it was an L-shaped student, the entry level or the candidates are in the line. The difference was that I was not dejected at all. I could see around 10 candidates ahead of me. And I just, while I was going to take the last position in the line, I could see everyone had one piece of a paper. And at that time, I crossed my heart. I said, Rafiq, I have got two pieces of paper. I've got, one is my resume, and the other one is a synopsis that I wrote about that particular project. And I could hear exactly the same thing which was going on. The two ladies there in the front, they had a tray, and they would say, thank you very much for coming over to our booth. We have open positions. We are going to keep your resume, and we are going to enter it into our database. And as and when there is a job which is suiting to your qualification and experience, comes in the forefront, we will get in touch with you. Thank you very much, and handshake. And she would keep the resume on top of the tray. When the tray will be filled, she will keep all those resumes underneath, and then it will be an empty tray. This phenomena was going on, and I could see it with my own eyes. When I am coming to that one, when it is my turn, I could see that the same girl, she is trying to snatch my papers, which is my resume, and I am holding on to it. And I said, good afternoon, I'm Rafiq Khadim Ali, and I'm applying for the position of project engineer, but congratulations. You people got a big project, $400 million. She says, no, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, because you are in HR. The project has given, and it is very good. And by the way, this is my resume, but then I have written a synopsis. I have written some of my suggestions that how that project should be done, in my opinion. And she says, well, I wouldn't know anything about it. And she said, sir, would you step aside? Now, audience, please understand, anytime when you get that kind of a message in the line that somebody tells you to just step aside, half of the battle is won. Believe me, I crossed my heart. I said, something new is going to happen. You know what she did? She whispered with the two gentlemen standing behind them. I figured them out. One of them could be the HR manager. The other one could be the operations or the project manager, whosoever. So she talks to one of them, and I could hear a little bit, well, this candidate has brought something. She says that we have got a $400 million project, and he has written something about it. Now I could see that operations manager or the project manager, whosoever at that time, By the way, he became my supervisor. He was the project manager. He is trying to catch my eyes, and he is coming forward, and then he says, "Mr. Rafiq, it is very good thing, but I have a," well, he brought me to one side, away from the line. The line was going on with the same thing. "How did you know that we got a project?" I said, "Very plain and simple. We have a central library here in Houston, and I went to see the HPC catalog, the hydrocarbon processing catalog, and I picked up your name and information. Well, that's very smart. So what do you think?" I said, "My background, I am coming from Saudi Arabia, and I worked for Aramco Jeddah Oil Refinery, Petromin. And I know you people are going to fabricate it in Indonesian yard, Batam. You are going to transport it to another place. You are going to do this commissioning and all that. And in my opinion, you could do this, you could do this. At least the topic started for discussion. At that time, I could see he went down and he picked up a business card and handed it over to me. He said, "Okay, give this paper to me. We will be in touch with you." Believe me, when I was leaving, I came home, and from that day, the second day, third day, me and my wife, we have been waiting for the telephone to ring. There were a lot of rings coming up, but somebody was someone else. He was not the one call that we were waiting for. The third day, we received the call exactly around 10 o'clock. I'll wake up early, 8 o'clock, we will start to wait for the call. And that they said, "We would like to have you in our office." Well, they had a lot of interview, chat, this, that, at least the topic had been discussed heavily. And that gentleman was my supervisor. I got the job that way. So to my students back again, you will know that I have discussed it in the class with you guys in a short way. But since, as I mentioned, I just finished the final exam, I had your grades already uploaded on the banner. So I have the time in the world, and that's why I thought I should have this vlog made, not only for my students globally, but also for the attention of the entry-level positions that they would like to appear the interviews and all that. So anytime you go for a job fair, plan it very good. It's very important. One of the most message is you have to do it something very different to be looking different. Bye for now.